The town of Millbrook, Pennsylvania, was a place of quiet beauty. Nestled amidst rolling hills and whispering willows, it exuded an idyllic charm. But beneath the surface, a dark history lurked. The locals whispered tales of a murder that had shaken the town 30 years ago. A young woman, Mary, vanished without a trace, her fate a mystery that haunted Millbrook's collective memory. 12-year-old Lisa Carlson lived on the edge of town with her widowed mother, Ellen. Lisa was a bright and imaginative girl, her days filled with laughter and adventure. But her world was about to take a sinister turn. It began with a nightmare. Lisa woke with a gasp, her heart pounding in her chest. She had dreamt of a dilapidated farmhouse, its windows like vacant eyes staring out into the night. A piercing scream cut through the silence. Lisa sat bolt upright in bed, her breath catching in her throat. The scream seemed to come from within the house, echoing through the empty hallways. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through her. Lisa scrambled out of bed and raced to her mother's room, her bare feet slapping against the hardwood floor.
Mom!
She flung open the door and found her mother sitting up in bed, her face pale and drawn. Ellen had heard the scream too. It was a sound that chilled them both to the bone, a harbinger of the terror that was about to engulf their lives. The nightmare returned the next night. The dilapidated farmhouse loomed larger this time, its decaying facade more menacing. Lisa found herself standing in the overgrown yard, a sense of dread washing over her. A woman with long, dark hair stood on the porch, her back to Lisa. She was dressed in a white gown, stained with what looked like blood. The woman turned, her face twisted in a silent scream. Lisa could see the terror in her eyes, the desperate plea for help. Then the vision shifted. Lisa was now inside the farmhouse, the air thick with the smell of decay and something else, something metallic and sharp. The woman was there too, her body lying crumpled on the dusty floor. Lisa woke with a start, her sheets twisted around her legs. She was drenched in sweat, her heart racing. The nightmare felt different this time, more vivid, more real. It was as if she had been transported to that desolate farmhouse, forced to witness a scene of unimaginable horror. Days turned into weeks, and the nightmares continued. Each one was a variation on the same theme. The dilapidated farmhouse, the screaming woman, the chilling sense of dread. Lisa tried to shake off the visions, but they clung to her like a shroud, seeping into her waking hours.
Lisa, honey, are you okay?
Ellen watched her daughter with growing concern. Lisa was withdrawn, her laughter silenced, her eyes clouded with a fear that Ellen couldn't comprehend. Something was happening to her little girl, something dark and sinister. Ellen vowed to get to the bottom of it, to protect her daughter from whatever was tormenting her. Ellen confided in her closest friend, Margaret, about Lisa's nightmares. Margaret, a lifelong resident of Millbrook, listened intently, her brow furrowed with concern. When Ellen described the dilapidated farmhouse from Lisa's dreams, a shiver ran down Margaret's spine.
It looks so real, Margaret, like she was actually there.
Margaret's eyes widened with a mixture of fear and apprehension.
Ever since what?
Ellen pressed, her heart pounding in her chest. Margaret hesitated, then leaned in closer.
Ever since Mary disappeared. They say the last place she was seen was at that farmhouse.
Ellen felt a chill run down her spine. Could Lisa's nightmares be connected to the unsolved murder that had haunted Millbrook for decades? The thought was both terrifying and impossible to ignore.
We have to find out more.
The next day, Ellen took Lisa to the library. She wanted to find out more about Mary's disappearance, to see if there was any connection to the farmhouse in Lisa's nightmares. They spent hours poring over old newspaper articles and microfiche files, piecing together the details of the case. The more they learned, the more convinced Ellen became that Lisa's nightmares were not just figments of her imagination. They were echoes of the past, fragments of a tragedy that had remained unsolved for far too long. Desperate for answers, Ellen sought help from Father Michael, the priest at St. Mary's Church. Father Michael was a kind and compassionate man, known for his unwavering faith and his ability to listen without judgment.
Father Michael, I don't know what to do. Lisa's nightmares, they're getting worse. And the things she's seeing, they seem so real, so connected to Mary's disappearance.
Ellen poured her heart out to him, recounting Lisa's nightmares and the chilling connection to Mary's disappearance. Father Michael listened intently, his brow furrowed with concern. He had heard the whispers about Mary's unsolved murder, the rumors that had circulated through Millbrook for years. He knew that the case had never been truly put to rest, that it lingered like a shadow over the town.
There are forces at work in this world that we cannot always comprehend, Ellen. But we must not give in to fear. We must have faith that the truth will be revealed.
Father Michael suggested that Lisa see a hypnotherapist, someone who could help her unlock the secrets buried deep within her subconscious. He believed that Lisa's nightmares were more than just dreams. They were messages from the past, cries for help from a soul that had never found peace.
Hypnosis? I don't know. It seems like such a desperate measure.
Ellen was hesitant at first. Hypnosis seemed like a desperate measure, a last resort, but she was willing to try anything to help her daughter. Lisa, too, was open to the idea. She was tired of the nightmares, tired of the fear that clung to her like a second skin. She wanted answers. She wanted peace. The hypnotherapist, Dr. Emily Carter, had a calming presence and a reassuring voice. She explained to Lisa that hypnosis was a safe and natural state of deep relaxation, a way to access the hidden depths of the mind.
Maybe Dr. Carter can help me understand the nightmares. Maybe I can finally find some peace.
As Dr. Carter guided Lisa into a state of hypnosis, the room seemed to fade away. The ticking of the clock on the wall, the distant traffic outside, all of it melted away until there was only Dr. Carter's voice, soothing and hypnotic.
You are safe now, Lisa. Let your mind drift back to the farmhouse. Tell me what you see.
And then it was as if a dam had broken inside Lisa's mind. Images flooded her consciousness, vivid and terrifying. She saw the farmhouse again, but this time she saw it through Mary's eyes. She felt Mary's fear, her desperation as she was dragged into the house, her screams echoing through the empty rooms.
Oh my God, I can see him! The man's face contorted with rage, his voice a guttural snarl, and the knife, the flash of metal.
Lisa cried out, the sound torn from the depths of her soul. It was Mary's scream, echoing through the years. Lisa's screams jolted her out of the hypnotic trance. She was gasping for air, her body trembling uncontrollably. Ellen rushed to her side, her face etched with worry. Dr. Carter, her expression grave, handed Lisa a glass of water.
It's him. I saw him, the man who killed Mary.
Dr. Carter and Ellen exchanged a look. Lisa's words were disturbing, but were they the ramblings of a traumatized child, or the chilling recollections of a witness from beyond the grave? Dr. Carter, bound by doctor-patient confidentiality, could not reveal what Lisa had said under hypnosis. But Ellen knew in her heart that her daughter was telling the truth.
We have to do something. We can't just sit here. Lisa, we're going to the old Miller place. We need to find out what happened.
Driven by a mother's love and a thirst for justice, Ellen decided to take matters into her own hands. She convinced Margaret to accompany her and Lisa to the old Miller place. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and a growing sense of dread, they cautiously approached the dilapidated farmhouse.
Stay close, Lisa. We'll figure this out together.
The house stood at the end of a long, overgrown driveway, its silhouette stark against the twilight sky. As they drew closer, a palpable sense of unease settled over them. The air grew heavy, as if burdened by unseen grief and sorrow. The wind howled through the trees, sounding like the mournful cries of the past.